Hello, I'm Jonathan Bowman-Perks, and welcome back to my favourite time of the week. As part of the Inspiring Leadership series, I'm very lucky to be with Dame Alison Nimmo, who's been the CEO of the Crown Estate for 8 years and had a number of years of record success under the team that she leads. She's very keen to point out it's a team, it's not just about the CEO. But before that, really instrumental in making the Olympics happen and also the rebuilding of Manchester after the terrible bomb, as well as a whole range of other things if you see her profile. But Alison, really interested firstly in your thoughts about, you're coming to the end of your time as CEO. People have described you as inspiring leader. You're very modest about saying not. Who's inspired you, and what sort of tips have you found from those inspiring leaders that you've applied and they sort of worked for you? What would you share on that?
Wow, that's a big question. It's quite interesting as you reflect back on 8 years and the amount of change we brought into the Crown Estate. And as you alluded to in the beginning, its success is very much a team effort. And I've been really lucky to have worked with many inspiring leaders. And you work out what works for yourself, really. And I think for me, I've tried to lead in a very thoughtful way and really being team coach. And somebody once said to me, leave your ego at home if you want to be a good leader. So I suppose I'm not your archetypal leader. I'm not the big hero I am and very loud and very directive. I think I'm more like team coach. So setting a clear strategy, but then really trying to work with and empower my team to deliver. And it's quite a scary thing to do, to let go. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist and a control freak. But actually when you do, that's when the magic happens. And you have to have the right team around you, and you have to not be scared to hire really good people and then let them find their wings and fly. And that's what people have done to the best leaders I've worked with, have done that. And I've just tried to emulate and pass that on, really. And you get such a huge sense of personal achievement when you see others succeed in that way.
Yeah, because you and I have talked about the sort of coach approach to leadership and moving from being on the balcony where you're the expert doing it all yourself to being on the balcony and bringing on a team of giants to work for you. And you've certainly done that, which has been part of the success. But how has it gone? How have you found that? And what tips would you give to others who are listening?
I like being down in the engine room, and so it's been a really conscious bit of self-awareness to get myself back up onto the balcony and be thinking, you're meant to be on the bridge of the ship, steering your way and looking out for icebergs.
Yes, that's a good one.
But it's quite fun being down in the engine room. So I like getting out on site and I like working with the team. But then, I sort of have to make sure that I get back up onto the balcony. And
because it's not an either or, is it? If you are too far detached from it, things can go badly awry, and you go, I don't know what happened, it wasn't on my watch. But at the same time, you've got to trust them to do the job as well.
Trust is a really important thing.
And
that works both ways. You need people to be really honest, and you need people to deliver in the right way. But as a leader, you need to put trust in your people, and you need to be consistent. People need to know that you will back them. And you will be there, and you will sponsor them, and you will support them. And if they make mistakes, you'll be with them as well. Sorry.
That's all right. No, don't worry. We've still got lots of time. And we were talking about people learn a lot from their mistakes as well as their successes. And you've had a huge number of successes, but you should never take that for granted. But what have you learned, do you think, from some of the mistakes in life, and how has that shaped the kind of CEO and leader you've become today? I mean, is there a story you particularly think of when you got it wrong and you learned from that?
I I've made lots of mistakes in my home life as well as my work life. I mean, you're not pushing yourself hard enough and fast enough if you don't. I think early in my career I did have this big fear of failure, and I think it really held me back.
Yeah.
I think the Olympics taught me a lot about just trusting your own judgment, and just getting on with stuff, really.
Yeah.
I don't think I've, other people might think, but I can't really think of one big moment of failure. But there's certainly plenty of things I regret. I think specific failures are around hiring the wrong people.
Yes.
And as you know, because we had I think it was our first coaching session, when you hire people that are psychopaths into the organisation, and they come across and they're very, very credible, but they can wreak havoc in a business. Bad behaviour and bullying, and you have to get them out of the business really quickly. And I've learned some hard lessons that way, which is around, choose your people very carefully and hire slowly.
Yes.
And then actually, when you've got problems, fire quickly.
Yeah.
And I think a real regret I had actually is, particularly in the Olympics, was bad behaviour.
Yeah.
And tolerating it.
Yeah. Is that acceptable?
As opposed to, I think now I would just find that really unacceptable, and I would be braver about speaking out and stopping earlier.
Yeah.
And I really regret that I didn't take more affirmative actions.
Yeah. And just in our final stage, what would be your top tip to give to those listening to today? What would be your advice to them? If you would sort of share, I mean, it's particularly on the theme of handing over to somebody else and leaving your team and doing it with good grace. What would be a tip or a bit of experience that you're sharing that you find works?
I think I found over the years very inspired by working with Sir Howard in Manchester, rebuilding Manchester after the bomb. It was an extraordinary time when he taught me the power of purpose.
Yeah.
And up until then, I always thought you went to work because you got paid to go to work, and getting up every morning and doing something you believed in, getting up every single morning and not stopping till the city was rebuilt, just taught me that whole different area of purpose and personal motivation and commitment. And I've tried to sort of carry that through in what we're doing here in the Crown Estate, that sort of getting people really motivated behind something really purposeful.
Yeah.
And then leadership is something you do with people, not to them.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to the leave your ego at home.
And I think it's a great credit to you and the team of giants, men and women that you've created, that not only have you got greater engagement, but you've actually got results that follow this philosophy. It's not just nice words, actually businesses perform better,
It's
don't
a
they?
really powerful model. We doubled the value of the business and added about 120 million to the bottom line, and it's a really powerful model. 97% of people in my team in the Crown Estate are proud to work for the Crown Estate.
That's
an
a great story.
incredible, that's when you've got real citizens as opposed to mercenaries working for you, and it's a really powerful force for good.
And here we are behind us, which is London and the influence that the team has made on it. Alison, thank you very much indeed. It's been a real pleasure working with you, and I'm sure people will take a lot away from that, but it's really, really helpful. Thank you.